Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Mademoiselle Lynna, and you can find me online at www.scottishsunflower.com. Today we are here to do the Cancer Tarotscope for January 2024. In order to prepare for this reading, please focus on the question that you most desire the answers to. The Significator. This card represents you or the situation you are asking about. The Seven of Swords from the Rosetta Tarot. The Seven of Swords is not as discouraging as the Five. Since the Sephira Nedzek means victory, there is some hope if one overcomes inertia and puts forth effort. The problem here is vacillation, and the theme of many against one. From all sides, 6 swords with hilts decorated with the symbols for the moon and Aquarius surround the sword of the Magus, which skewers and upholds the rose. Only partial success is indicated as one tends to yield just as victory is within sight and effort is not continued. The card is one of fluctuating strength, a form of mental impotence. An unconscious self-protective mechanism is triggered if one gives up. Then by rights, they did not really lose. If we can accept some measure of disappointment, Moon in Aquarius in the Sephira of victory can grant a certain ingenuous and bravery if we uphold the highest moral standards and use cleverness and slyness rather than outright deception. This card warns against insincerity, especially towards oneself, as the amoral mind is not capable of deep insights. There is no time for hesitation and inconsistency if the goal is victory. This covers you. This card represents the general atmosphere around the focus of the reading, whether the focus be you or a situation. The covering card gives a metaphor of the energies at work. The Ace of Wands from Tarot of the Holy Light. Solar fire warms the earth and awakens the seeds of the future. Green shoots rise to the divine hand with enthusiasm. Paradise must grow in the soul like a plant, transforming hell into heaven, growing upward through the light naturally as a plant seeks the light, rising out of the dirt. All the potential of the plant's whole future life is awakened the moment it sprouts and sends up that first shoot. The Ace of Wands symbolize a pivotal act or fateful step that will set loose a chain of events leading towards your desired goal. As such, it refers to a birth or new beginning, the inauguration of an endeavor, and the necessary passion to move intention into action. This ace embodies the inflamed will pouring forth into work, labor, and willing struggle for change. Since it is associated with the earliest degrees of the first sign of spring, there is a tremendous upwelling of fresh energy becoming available, like spring sap rising in the trees. Given the ruling planet Mars' affinity with the metal iron, this card will sometimes have the implication of great force suddenly unleashed, as if it was shot from guns. The Ace of Wands invites us to meditate on the confluence between the first day of spring and the first station of the Kabbalah tree, the number 1, and the concept of monad. All 4 aces share this energy of firstness, but the Aries ace is premier among them all, because it is associated with the season of spring. This ace, more than any other, has the connotation of starting with a blank slate, in the sense of not having to accommodate to any prior act of will or outside impact. The best place to seek and cultivate this kind of utterly fresh ground is at the fringes of one's own imagination, in that utterly trackless realm where no outsiders ever tread. The monad brings the added significance of completeness, as in the totality is gathered here as one. There might be many moving parts within. They could even be as uncountable as ants in the hive. But all those parts are of one mind, one will, and one goal with their queen, who embodies the hive consciousness. Just so, the aces will center and guide their suits from the essential central motive of their element. In the case of wands, this is fire, cognate with the arousing power of desire and aspiration. Most people don't realize that despite our age or past experience, there are still parts of our natural capacity that have remained virgin and untouched, being held in abeyance and left dormant until needed. When the Ace of Wands appears, the divine will is requesting that a new part of the self should bud and grow forth in response to the current circumstance. The inner quickening that accompanies this outer calling bears witness that we are indeed the one being sought and recruited. Spirit has a plan for us, and now is the time. Another aspect of this first decanate of Aries is that it governs the 10 days following spring equinox. This is the time of year when the day and night are functionally equal. At this period, Mars has his balance. He isn't being triggered towards either of his extremes, meaning he can think with both sides of his brain, so to speak. When this card presents itself, this is a perfect moment for aggressive, assertive, ambitious Mars to hold his fire and study out his options. Does he want to charge out of the gate with guns blazing like a typical Aries? Or does he want to work more slowly and subtly like the patient Scorpio? Nobody can unsay or undo what has already happened. So the far better path is to refrain from setting off any alarms until a full examination of the situation has been made. This crosses you. This card represents the energies arrayed in opposition to the cover card. The Sun from the Enchanted Tarot. A pair of birds ask for and receive a life-giving blessing from the sun before they begin to build their love nest. In appreciation, the birds promise to sing the sun's praises every morning when he returns from his journey below the earth. The radiant sun, like that drawn in corners of pictures by children all over the world, symbolizes the divine child within every individual. In the idyllic scenes from childhood, everything is open and always flooded with the sun's rays. There are no boundaries and no secrets. Earthly pleasures, good cheer, and success all seem to beam down, as paternal energy radiates from the sun's smiling face. The 7 rays emanating from the all-seeing sun represent the 7 basic colors of the color spectrum. 7 is also the traditional number of good fortune. The supremely generous sun gives us the gift of the 4 seasons, and most of all, springtime with a freshly colored, reborn earth. Every morning he brings new light to banish the haunting, formless shapes of the night. Everything will be sunny and bright. Love, friendships, and relationships of all kinds are highlighted. It is a time to emulate the sun's active, creative ability to realize new works of art and love. Be a dynamic, inspiring, and influential leader whose light shines for all to see. Show the world who you are and what you have done. Express yourself so that everyone you encounter can feel your warmth. At either sunrise or midday on a Sunday, arrange a bunch of brightly colored flowers and prepare a goblet of sparkling mineral water mixed with orange juice. Adorn yourself with jewelry and a golden garment. On a yellow ribbon, write these words: Golden light, we are one. Shine on me, gift of the sun. Tie it around your wrist and drink the sun water. Enjoy the day. The root of the matter. This card is a metaphor for everything that is the foundation of the covering card. This card reveals the root of the matter. The King of Swords from Tarotscope's Tarot. Like the vertical sword he holds at the ready, he is a pillar of strength and morality. He holds power over life and death. He is a warrior king, sword always drawn so that he can be prepared to spring into action should the need arise. He is a leader, riding triumphantly at the forefront of his army. He carries through with his actions, following the path of truth that the blade lights for him. He is led on by the silent wisdom of the owl. She perches balanced upon the very tip of his blade, and her eyes swirl with all the ancient knowledge that her kind has been imbued with by human beliefs. Mirroring the owl, he is also led by the shadowy ravens that trail at his side like Hugin and Mugen, Odin's twins ravens, thought and memory. They fly away to seek out truths and bring their findings back to be whispered in his ear. In conjunction, they are the balance of night and day. They are the sharp clarity of the sun, and the owl is the truth that can only be heard distinctly in velvety light of stars and moon. This is what is embodied in these avian companions. The shadows of the night descend upon his shoulders, a living mantle of purple, a color the ancient Greeks associated with royalty, and the base of the throne is etched with Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, symbolic of the blend of art and science, of the symmetry in the human body and in the whole of the universe. The past. This card describes energies that are ending or waning in the situation. The Ace of Pentacles from the Enchanted Tarot. The very surface of the earth parts to offer you the treasure you have been longing for. Set in the richest vein of gold imaginable is the star of unlimited opportunity. This beautiful, shining, five-pointed star, with its glowing pink rays and glistening background, represents your wishes exploding into being in the material world. Its jeweled corners symbolize earthly riches that have crystallized from its fiery essence. Diamond means the earth goddess, giver of precious stones and metals. The diamond is the unifying background shape on all the cards of the Pentacle suit. At its heart is a reflection of the first star, the one we wish upon, and it radiates warmth, prosperity, and security. The dynamic force of the Ace of Pentacles gives you the strength of the earth to do the work to bring your plans to fruition. On an inner level, this card of good fortune bestows the great gift of knowledge and the materialization of ideas. For earthly benefits, this is one of the most favorable of all the enchanted tarot cards. Now there is a great sense of stability and earthly power. You will have enough resources to do and have whatever you may wish. Gifts or inheritances may be indicated, and desired material gains will be forthcoming. Your business activities will expand on a secure foundation. A new beginning regarding material wealth and practical affairs is at hand. If investments have been properly handled, much profit and wealth will accrue. This crowns you. This card shows something that may happen, but is not certain to happen in this situation. The Five of Swords from Ghost and Spirits Tarot. In Goethe's tragic poem, the Erlkönig is the personification of death. He appears to a sick child while riding horseback with his father, who tries to reassure his child that it is just the natural elements playing tricks on him. The child continues to relay his fantasies until he finally cries out, my father, he seizes me fast, for sorely the Erlkönig has hurt me at last." The alarmed father clutches his shuddering child and rushes home, but when they arrive, the child is dead. The rough ride reflects desperation. Spirits are all around, witnesses to the tragedy unfolding. The ground is crumbling beneath the charge, depicting a loss of control. Life can be unfair. The cruel, cold hand of a backstabber may render you disillusioned and defeated. If you are the one who dishes it out, prepare for a backlash. The future. This card shows what will most likely happen in the future. Two of Swords from the Mystic Dreamer Tarot. A blindfolded woman wearing vibrant red sits on a bench with two perfectly balanced swords, symbolizing a difficult decision or conflict. The moon hangs in the sky, illuminated by a curious beam of light. Behind her, a turbulent ocean churns and rages, a sign of her emotions. Two ravens sit quietly, watching to see her next move. This card represents a difficult situation. You are dealing with two conflicting ideas or a challenging decision, but you are not willing to face the situation. You've closed your eyes to it. Rather than view it rationally, your emotions are distracting you. The Two of Swords suggests that this situation would benefit more from a rational decision than from an emotional one. It can also represent a truth or stalemate. Hopes and fears. This card represents your hopes and fears in the matter. The Hermit from Journey into Egypt Tarot. The Hermit represents a person who can shine a light on a situation, someone who stands out and stands alone. This card also suggests finding some alone time to focus and shine a light on the situation. The card symbolizes the wisdom of old age, as well as the wisdom found in stepping away from the crowd and looking at things from a higher perspective. The additional Egyptian symbolism gives the Hermit a creative side. He is the maker of new containers. His power of fertility ensures new life and triumph over waste and decay. Connect with the Hermit alone. Take time to create something new and see the project through from beginning to end. This process is like the sun journeying across the sky. Family and friends. This card is a metaphor for the influences and energies of family and friends in this situation. Seven of Wands from Tarotscope Tarot. The vixen faces off against a badger while her kits watch from beneath the protective curl of her tail. The enemies circle and circle. They size each other up. A nip here to test the swiftness of reaction. A swipe to press the defenses. The vixen snarls and lunges forward, for she has her brood to protect, and she will not fail them. Fear for her kits burns in her heart. Her actions are necessity, not merely courage, and yet it is all more courageous for being such a selfless act, without the tangle of thoughts and justifications. Her mere belief makes her fight 10 times more fiercely and with a fiery strength. The bamboo of the wands signifies strength and fortitude. Bamboo possesses a slender suppleness that sways in the winds and does not break. It grows tenaciously and sends out multitudinous shoots in all directions, the better to compete for sun and space. The Seven of Wands represents taking a stand, defending what you believe in. The world is full of strife and stiff competition, and one must have courage in facing the difficulties that come. Do not buckle under a stiff wind, but sway like the bamboo. Seemingly unsurmountable odds can be overcome with faith and courage. Dreams and ideals. This card represents your dreams and ideals in the matter. 6 of Coins from Joie de Vivre Tarot. This is sharing, generosity, abundance, receiving, gratitude. Benevolence, a prosperous and generous rabbit, puts his spare assets to good use by helping a friend in need. He presents a coin to Hopeful in a decorative box. Accepting the act of kindness with a grateful heart, Hopeful will put it to wise use. Giving and receiving creates balance and harmony. Giving something of value isn't limited to finances. Spiritual support and time are always highly valued. That which you give, you get back in abundance. What will come? This card represents the outcome of the question, the progression of events in the situation, the end of the story. The Ace of Cups from Tarot of the Holy Light. The Ace of Cups shows a fountain overflowing every attempt to contain it, offering an endless stream of water, wine, blood, or soma for the people's refreshment and healing. In theology, this represents the fountain of eternal life. Classic associations with this card are the Holy Grail, the sacrament of baptism, a fountain of love and self-esteem, heart's home, and the mystical center. As such, it is the fountain at the heart of paradise. This idea of a tiered fountain mirrors the Kabbalistic doctrine of emanations, which teaches that as the divine poured out into the space dedicated to the creation, one sephira would fill up and overflow into the next all the way down to the tree of Malhut. Just so, this ace expresses the benediction of water, which nourishes and heals us through the benevolence of heaven. In more practical terms, water is the common denominator of all life forms on this planet. Where the springs are, that is where all the species will gather to make a life. This is why water is such an apt symbol of the consciousness inherent in matter. Water is the manifested psyche of Earth, circulated and distilled by the moon. In the fountain, we see the benefits of civilization being added to the natural blessing of the water itself. The action of the fountain introduces the two active elements, air and solar fire, to the feminine element, water, enlivening it and purging out microscopic contagion. The water from this fountain, when poured upon a prepared spot of earth, will awaken the seeds of paradise that lie dormant in matter. Being the monad and prime mover in the suit of cups, this ace represents the dream of the soul, a symbol of the higher life that moves us deeply and can sweeten our lives if we surrender to it. This card is an unfailing source of balm for body, heart, and soul. When you see it, you can relax into a safety net of love, support, and communion. The feeling is focused on the private inner life, including prayer and meditation, communion with nature and/or spirit, one's psychic life of presentiment and intuition, the deep dream time, as well as the hormonal and emotional effect of these things as experienced by the body. At every level, from completely unconscious through brilliantly superconscious, the element water is there to nurture us and provide us the moist matrix in which we feel ourselves. I hope this reading has helped you and will help lead you and guide you throughout the month. If it has helped you and you feel like it will help someone else, please feel free to share this video. And as always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. If you would like a more detailed and in-depth personalized reading, you can book online at www.scottishsunflower.com. I look forward to speaking to you soon. Love you bunches. Bye-bye.